Hello, welcome to Z Talk. This session, I'd like to talk about Prometheus Alertmanager integration with Microsoft Teams. As you may aware, if you go through the documentation on Prometheus official website, the direct integration with Teams does not come out of box like Slack or PagerDuty or WeChat. Fortunately, there's a good solution on GitHub via webhook, which makes the configuration easier. This is how this solution works. It's pretty simple. It will create a proxy. The alerts triggered on Alertmanager will be sent to the proxy first, and then forwarded to Microsoft Teams channel accordingly through proxy. Below, I share the GitHub repository. You can click the link and take a look. Okay, I will jump to demo real quick. For this demo, I will still be using Prometheus operator Helm chart to spin up a Prometheus instance on Kubernetes. However, since I only need a one cluster, I will use Minikube to set up Kubernetes on my laptop. For installation of Minikube, just Google Minikube installation and go to the official website and follow the instruction based on the flavor of your OS system. Okay, let's jump to the demo. By the way, remember sub up and subscribe my channel. Okay, firstly, I'm gonna bring up Minikube. I just hit enter. It's gonna take a little bit of time. For my case, I use VirtualBox as the VM driver, but there are other options out there, like what it mentioned in the documentation. So if you go to step 2 and click drivers page, and you can see there are multiple options like Hyper-V and Docker, which are also popular. And it's up to you to choose the driver based on your preference. Okay, let's jump back to the terminal and let's wait the Kubernetes cluster being built up. Okay, the cluster is up and running. Let's deploy Prometheus real quick through Helm charts. Let's do a kubectl get PO, and following the best practices, I'm gonna create a new namespace called monitoring and deploy Prometheus out there. Kubectl create namespace monitoring and kubectl get namespace. Okay, the monitoring namespace was created, and let's deploy Helm charts. Before deploy, make sure you added the Helm chart to the cluster. If you run Helm repo list, okay, so you can see the Helm chart is out there. So if you haven't uploaded the repo yet, so you need to run Helm repo add stable and provide the location of this Helm chart. And hit enter, so the chart will be added to your cluster. So now I'm ready to deploy the Helm charts by Helm install. I'll give the instance name as demo. Stable Prometheus operator and the monitoring namespace and hit enter. Okay, let's give it a little bit of time to deploy on the monitoring namespace. It should be quick.
The deployment was successful. Let's take a look and confirm all pods are up and running. Let's issue kubectl get PO under monitoring namespace. Okay, you can see all pods are up and running, so we're good. Now let's review the documentation of these integration solution at GitHub. to figure out how do we deploy it to our cluster. Let me jump to my browser, and here's the Github. If you scroll down all the way to the bottom, you can see there is a Helm chart deployment option down here. Okay, so click Helm guide, and here we go. Same procedure. So what we need to do, we need to add these repository to our cluster first and install just the same thing like what we did for Prometheus. So let's verify if the repository was added yet. So Helm repo list. Here I have already added these repositories, so I'm good to deploy. I'm gonna deploy the pod to the monitoring namespace as well. So Helm install, I will give name MS Teams, and the repository name is Prometheus -MS Teams, and the chart name is also Prometheus -MS Teams, and I'm gonna deploy under monitoring namespace. Hit enter. Okay, it's done. Let's take a look. kubectl get PO. Here you can see there was a pod being created. Let's give a little time. Refresh. It's still being created. Just be patient. Now this pod is up and running. Good, all pods are running, so let's move on to take a look at the secret. There should be a secret out there for Alertmanager with default settings. Let's take a look. kubectl get secret under monitoring namespace. Okay, here, this is the secret where the configuration for Alertmanager stored. Let's take a look by kubectl edit secret, and let's copy the name of this secret. Oh, so I need to specify the namespace monitoring. Okay, here, since the configuration was encoded, I need to decode this string first so we can get a human readable format. So let's copy this string and X out and do an echo string pipe base 64 -decode. Okay, here we can see this is the default configuration for Alertmanager out of box. Now I needed to create a custom config file for Alertmanager to override this existing config, as we will be integrated with Teams. And after that, I will have to create another custom values.yaml file to replace the default setting with my custom configuration. If you want to understand more details about the customization of the Prometheus operator Helm chart, you can review my previous video for Thanos. Okay, let's review the parameters available for Alertmanager, and let me jump to my browser and go to the GitHub stable repository for Prometheus operator Helm chart. Scroll down to the section for Alertmanager, and here it lists out all the parameters available for Alertmanager. And so this is what I need So alert manager spec config secret. So I need to create a new configuration to replace the default. So you can see the type is it's a string. So let's do it. Okay, I prepared the custom config file ahead of time. Let's review them one by one. Let's start with the config for Alert Manager. Basically, it's composed of three sections: global settings, receivers, and root. Receivers is the section where we define whatever integrations as needed. Then we specify the conditions about which receivers and alerts should be routed to under root section. In this example, I will create two channels in Teams. You can create as many as channels based on your use cases. Here under a receiver section, as you can see, I have defined three receivers. The first one, DevNow. Okay, DevNow is a special receiver. It's kind of like a DevNow directory in Linux. It's for alerts that do not match any conditions that were defined in the root section. So those alerts are not needed to be fed to any team channel. So if that's the case, we will route those alerts to DevNow. The second and third receivers were about different team channels. So basically, for my case, I created two channels for based on the alert severity. So if the alert contains warning severity label, it will be routed to this receiver. On the other side, if the alert that contains critical severity label, it is going to be routed to this receiver accordingly. And in the root section, again, that's where the logic was defined here. So you can see the condition. So if the alert matches these conditions, so it contains these severity warning severity label, you're gonna route it to these receiver. And same thing for critical. If it contains critical label, you route it to here. Okay. About custom values.yaml file, it will be pretty easy because the only parameter that I need to overwrite is the one that I just mentioned earlier under Alert Manager. So let me go back to the documentation and this guy, config secret. And actually that's what I did in the values.yaml file. So I gonna create a new secret called my alert manager. And that's what I defined in the values.yaml file. Okay, next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply whatever config under alert manager -teams as a secret to the cluster. So let me jump to the terminal and I will issue kubectl create a secret, and the name of the secret is my alert manager, which is exactly what I defined in the values.yaml file, my alert manager, right? And here is going to be a key value pair. So the key is alert manager.yaml, and the value will be the config file I created in the Visual Studio Code, alert manager-teams.yaml, right? So that's the config file name. Okay, let's apply. It's created. Let's take a look. Get secret. Here you can see the my alert manager secret was created. Let's take a look. kubectl edit secret and my alert manager monitoring. Okay, so again, the string was encoded, we have to decode to the human readable format. But this is the alert the key that I mentioned earlier. The key name is alertmanager.yaml. Let's copy this string out and exit out and echo pipe base 64-d. Yep, that's exactly what I defined in my config file, right? That's exactly the same. Okay, now we're good to go. So before we can move forward to the configuration on the proxy side, I will need to create two channels on Teams. Now let's do it. I logged in my Teams and already created a team called demo. So under this demo, I will create two channels. Click the one add channel, and I will give a name alerts warning Prometheus add. And another one, add channel alerts critical Prometheus add. Okay, we got two channels now. So for each channel, we need to create a webhook. So I will use critical as example. So click connectors and let's find out incoming webhook. Here we go. So click config. So give it a name. I'll call it Prometheus. And click create. Okay, these URL is all we need. So we're gonna just copy and write it down somewhere. And this is the configuration we're gonna put into the proxy shortly. So let me copy paste here. By the way, just remember, it is kind of your secret key. Don't share this with others. Otherwise, anyone got this URL, they can put whatever messages to your channel. For demo purpose, I will show it here, but after the demo, I will definitely delete this channel. And okay, I cancel it out. Then done, and exit out. I'm gonna follow the same procedure, create a webhook for warning channel. So once you're done, we can move to the configuration on proxy side. Okay, we got the two webhook created. Now we can go ahead to update the proxy configuration. The proxy configuration was stored as a config map when it was deployed by Helm chart. For saving some time, I already update the configuration. I will show you exactly what I did. Let's go to kubectl, get config map, monitoring, and this was the config map for the proxy. So let's take a look. kubectl, edit, config map, monitoring. So as I mentioned, I already update. Basically what I did was I create a connectors under these connects.yaml file. One connector will be alert manager warning, and the other was for alert manager critical, and this was the webhook URL that I created over the Teams channel. Just remember the connector name here and here should be exactly same as what we defined in the Alertmanager config file. Let's jump back to the Visual Studio Code, and here, so the connector name has to be exactly same as what we defined right here. Let's double check Alertmanager -warning and critical. Alertmanager -warning and critical. Okay, cool. So we're good to exit out. The next thing we need to apply the values.yaml file to overwrite the existing configuration. Let's do it. So let's issue helm upgrade install and demo stable Prometheus operator file will be values.yaml file. This is my customization and deploying to monitoring. Basically, once it's applied, we just tell the Helm chart use, let me jump back to the Visual Studio Code, use this secret key, the secret, the new secret we created called My Alert Manager. So we just tell the Helm chart to use this new secret as the configuration. Okay, it's done. Now what we need to do is just to create some testing alerts to verify if it's the integration works as expected or not. Okay, let me create a couple of dummy alerts for testing. So firstly, let's take a look at the default rules. So if you issue kubectl get Prometheus rule, here it lists out all the predefined Prometheus rules out of box by the Helm charts. So I just randomly pick a rule and go inside to create a couple of dummy alerts. So I will do kubectl edit Prometheus rule, and I will pick general. Okay, so inside this rule, you can see already created 2 dummy alerts right here. One is with label warning, the other with label critical, and let's exit out. And so let's get access to the Prometheus interface. So we need to expose the service first by kubectl port forwarding and the pod name, and we expose to port 9090. And once it's the service was exposed, we can get access to the Prometheus interface from our browser. So basically localhost 9090, we will get the interface here. So click alerts, and here we can see that 2 dummy alerts have already been triggered. And yeah, here. So let's jump to the terminal again and open another tab. So here I just telling the logs, so you can see there have been a lot of alerts triggered already. So let's click to the team channels, and you can see the alert was triggered. So you can see this is the critical channel, and all the critical alert with critical severity were routed to this channel. And on the other hand, for warnings, all the alerts with warning severity were routed to warning channel. Cool. That's pretty much I want to share with you guys for this session. And thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Thanks you for watching Z Talk.